Hi guys, welcome everyone to today's price action video. This is the price action analysis of the 10th May 2022, and let's start by analyzing Nifty today, and let's see how the price action unfolded today. Now I have hidden the price action for today so you can see only the 9th of May. Let's see what the first candle did. Now whenever you see a first candle form at the CPR or around the CPR, or like today it opens below the CPR but closes outside it with a very strong green candle. So at that time it is very important to mark off the low immediately. So as you can see, I have marked off the low here, right? And that I did even immediately after the first candle had opened, and rather it had closed. So you can see how big the first candle was. Let's measure the first candle from low to high. How much was that? Let's see, it was, the first candle itself was more than 100 points. So it was a huge candle, right? It traveled more than 100 points from the low to the high. And so what does the low to the high mean, or rather what does the low mean in such candles? This particular low means that there is a very strong demand zone there. So a very strong demand zone has been formed exactly at the base of the, or the low of the opening candle. And now if that is a demand zone, then you know for a fact that if price comes back to that region, you should be alert, right? So let's go ahead and see how the day unfolded after that, what price action did. And immediately after that candle, price started to fall, and you could see how the 9:30 a.m. candle took support exactly at the central pivot, and it formed another pin bar here. Now what does this candle suggest? This candle suggests that the central pivot is holding as a strong support. But then you could see still here that the low was far away from the central pivot. This was the distance here, right? So if you were to go long on this particular green candle, where would you go long? Most retailers would go long on the high of this candle here. And where would they keep their SL? Their SL would be at the base of this candle. Somewhere below here would be their SL. Okay, and if they saw that there was a CPR right here at this level, then probably they would keep their SL somewhere here below the CPR, or some might be brave enough to keep their SL below the central pivot. So you should read what retailers are doing in the stock market. Okay, you should read what they would be thinking. You should read their mind, and it's a big thing to be able to read the minds of retailers, because then you would start trading as pro traders, right? So what do professionals do here? Let's see what price action did, and I'll explain how professionals trade. So now you can see here that price is challenging the CPR continuously, right from 9:30 a.m., then the 9:35 a.m. candle, then the 9:40 a.m., then the 9:45 a.m. candle. All these candles are challenging the CPR. So you should wait it out till price actually breaks through the CPR and comes to the low of the day, and then see what sort of price action it forms at that low, or you should see what sort of price action is being happening around this CPR area. So let's go further a bit and see what is happening there. Okay, now you can see there's a small green candle there, but again it has a long wick on the top, so this is not exactly a buying candle, right? And then what happens next? Okay, now you can see that the CPR has been broken by this candle, which is the 10 a.m. candle, and then the 10:05 a.m. candle has formed below the CPR, but it is still within a very important area. What is that important area? That important area is this particular zone that has been formed by the very first candle. Why? Because it shows you that there are a lot of buyers in that area. So you're still within the bull's zone. You're still within the buyer's zone. So don't forget that the demand zone is still there. Now let's see what happens next. And you can see that this particular candle has formed a bullish pin bar. Where has it formed a bullish pin bar? Let's just mark a zone here, and you can see that exactly at the base of that zone here, on the border here, it has marked a bullish pin bar. Now this is a very good sign to go long. Now you will ask me that there is a CPR on the top right here. So was it a good idea to go long? Yes, it still was a good idea to go long, because that CPR, as you have seen, has already been challenged by the very first candle has been broken. So this CPR truly does not have much meaning as far as a strong support goes. But this first candle shows you a very strong support, and if you see a bullish pin bar like this somewhere around that first candle's low, or somewhere around that open, or anywhere within this zone that I have marked here, then it's a very strong sign to go long. It's a deadly combination to go long here. Wherever you see that there is a CPR and the CPR has been broken by a first strong candle, and then the price retraces back to the first candle's low. Why is it a deadly combination? The reason being that this candle here forms a very strong base because there are strong buyers sitting in this area. And given the previous day's price action, you could see how price was taking support right at this area. Exactly at that area you can see this particular candle being formed, and you could see how you had the price had taken a U-turn from here. Exactly around this area it had formed a base and then taken a U-turn, and then it had not exactly reached that level again. So this level was still a virgin level, it was not broken yet, isn't it? You can see that that level is still active because this particular first strong bullish candle was formed exactly at the open. So you know that a big institutional order has been placed right at the day open. That is the reason why that candle is there. And so whenever price retraces back to the low of that candle, you know that the buyers here will not allow the price to easily go down from here. It would find it very difficult, at least for the first retest, for the price to go down from there. So that was the ideology there, and hence this particular candle here, this particular pin bar, forms a very good pattern to go long on. Yes, it is not exactly at the low of the first candle, but it is formed at the zone here that we have marked. You can see this particular zone here that we have marked. It is formed exactly at the base of that zone, right? And so that was the good opportunity to go long. Now let's see what happens further. There has to be some volatility around that area, and that is why it was volatile around the CPR. But then eventually you could see that the buyers did come back sharply. Even with the candle here, you could see at the 11:30 a.m. candle was the candle that actually gave another push to price, and then you could see how price rallied. And if you had gone long on this particular candle, where would have been your SL? See, this would have been your entry, right? Your SL should have been below this candle here, below the low here. So you should give it some room and place an SL there, and this would be your entry, and then you would take your profit back at the day's high from where the price had reversed. So what is your SL? This is your SL, and this is your target. So you can see easily a 1:2 trade. And why these strong green candles followed up by this particular pin bar was because the price was being pushed up by strong buyers. You can see non-stop green candles, right? So that's because there's a strong buying force at the low of the day, and that is the reason why you can quite easily trade on such days whenever you see a combination of the CPR and a first candle base being at around the same area. So that was one place where you could have really traded today. And another important area was this particular PDH, right, where the price had actually taken a fall from yesterday. So you could see how yesterday price had shot up from this particular level that was around 16,140, and it had shot up to the level of around 16,400. And there, if price had retraced back to that level, then that was another good opportunity to take a short position. Now you could again see that this is the zone at which that particular pin bar has been formed, the red pin bar has been formed. If you see the place where I've kept my mouse pointer, it's around 16,390. So that is one reason, place where you could have taken another short entry. But the point was where Bank Nifty was and what it was doing at that point. And also that this particular day high was not reached by Nifty, and before that it made this particular red candle. Let's see what happens after that. Okay, so price tries to break that, but it does not, it cannot break it. And then in the next candle, price actually forms an inside bar. Now what is an inside bar? I had tweeted about it in the live market today morning, that this particular candle has formed an inside bar. So you can see here that this particular candle, the red candle, has been formed within the green candle, and it has been formed around this particular important area. So whenever this border, either the top or the bottom border is broken, you could see an explosive move to the downside. All right, so let's go ahead and see what price did after that. Okay, you could see how long price is taking to actually go through that zone. See, still the price is not able to break the high or the low. You can see these wicks don't matter. We need a candle close. So you can see that both the upper and the lower borders are being tried to be breached here, but to no use. And you can see still it is forming red and green candles alternatively, showing that sometimes there is selling pressure and sometimes there is buying pressure. So the compression or the contraction here was still going on, and a battle had ensued between the buyers and the sellers. And finally, with this particular candle, the 1:15 p.m. candle had broken out of the contraction zone, and I had tweeted about this also. But then at this particular time, Bank Nifty was at an important support, which was the PDH. Okay, we will finish up by with Nifty first, so that then we can push ahead with Bank Nifty and we can analyze what Bank Nifty did at that time and whether there was any position to be taken at that time. Now, why was this particular pattern important here? The 12:20 p.m. and the 12:25 p.m. candles had formed an inside bar. It was important because it had formed at an important resistance. What was that resistance? It was the previous day high supply zone. So there you can see that the buyers and sellers are fighting strongly, and eventually with the 1:15 p.m. candle, the sellers have pushed the price beyond the buyers area. So the buyers have finally given up, and let's see what happens next. Remember that Bank Nifty is at an important support, okay? That is the PDH, the previous day high. And still you can see how price fell with big red candles in Nifty, and then finally a push to price, and the price again goes up. A lot of volatility in that area, and you can see how price is going sideways in this particular zone. Let's see what happens later. Okay, and finally the CPR is broken, right? So this was a good area to take a short position at here, 1:15 p.m. The only reason that it might not have been a very good idea to take a short position was that Bank Nifty was at the PDH support. But we will talk about it when we analyze Bank Nifty. So as I said, I would take you candle by candle at important locations to explain to you how price action is shown at that particular point and how you can take important positions at that point. Okay, now another important place is when this particular candle went through the low of the previous day. Now, was this particular candle important? Again, you could see that the wick of the 3:05 p.m. candle is up to this level, right? So the wick here is up to the level of around 16243.50, and this wick goes below it, right? So this is not really the breakout candle. So this is, although the fact being that it is at 3:10 p.m. it's very late, but still this is not exactly a breakout, because the low now is here, the new low is here. So if anything, you could call this a breakout, the 3:20 p.m. candle, but then the day ended at 3:30 p.m. So this was not a tradable candle anyway, because it would have been a very short time left, and usually your broker would not allow you to trade at that late a time. Okay, so this candle is a very weak candle or anyway to trade on a breakout. This is a strong candle, but it is still within this 3:05 p.m. candle wick, the pin bar that you see here, right? So I don't think that level has really been breached or broken very convincingly. It has gone down with back-to-back red candles, and again this is massive institutional selling, but you can see that there was a fight given by buyers at this level, and not very much lower than that did the price actually close. Okay, so based on this, let's go ahead and mark some levels in Nifty and Bank Nifty now. Let us delete this level here now that price has broken it, and the day high here should continue to be an important supply zone. All right, so you can see how price action has acted and shown you here exactly how and where you could have taken positions in such type of a market. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame also. You can see here that in the 15-minute time frame you can see a lot of choppiness here in the initial part of the day, and then during the later half of the day also, the late evening or the late afternoon also. And then it was after 2:45 p.m. that you could see that big red candles were formed at that point, where a huge selling order was placed. So let's extend this gap here, And since we already have this zone coming from yesterday, this order was placed yesterday itself. It was an institutional order that was placed yesterday itself, and we can see that it was yesterday's continuation that has happened today. Okay, so just keep the PDH ready as a supply zone, and till these levels are broken, either to the upside or to the downside, the market will be stuck, or Nifty will be stuck within these two levels. We will see when these levels will be broken. It will have to be seen, and to which side, that will be important. And we don't have any gaps today, we don't have any divergence CPR today, so that will be all as far as the important levels in Nifty and Bank Nifty are concerned. In Nifty are concerned. So now we will be going ahead and checking out Bank Nifty. Okay, now Bank Nifty also showed us a similar kind of a pattern here. We could see that Bank Nifty was also taking support exactly at the CPR, but the CPR in Bank Nifty was very narrow. So the pattern was a little bit more convincing in Nifty rather than in Bank Nifty, because narrow CPRs don't really hold much importance. And you could see in Bank Nifty that this was a very strong opening candle, just like in Nifty, and this is a very bullish sign. Okay, the first candle exactly at the CPR and a strong green candle is a very bullish sign. And so you could see how price actually did not have much follow-up after the first green candle. Then it came here and it formed a base around this area, around the CPR, and then it pushed up. So the CPR is actually, in spite of being narrow, it has held beautifully. And then you could see how price has consistently kept going up in Bank Nifty. You could see that there was a base that was formed in this area, and then there was another push here. So a little bit of volatility around this area, but otherwise Bank Nifty showed a pretty smooth movement today. And I was talking about the 1:15 PM candle. You could see here that this is the red candle that I was talking about. And the only reason why it was not a very good opportunity to go short on that candle in Nifty was this particular candle in Bank Nifty. You could see that Bank Nifty had broken the resistance of the previous day high here, but the support was still holding. You could see that the R1 and the PDH were very close by here. I always keep saying that they are twins, and you could see how even in spite of breaking the R1, the PDH has held so beautifully here. So Bank Nifty actually gave you a reversal sign here, and then it actually came down, but it did not actually crash as much as Nifty crashed. Right, so Nifty crashed right from here, and had this candle actually been formed at this particular level and then it had closed below it with a strong price action shown there, or a strong Marubozu candle there, then this candle or that candle in Nifty at 1:15 PM would have been worth shorting definitely. So this would have been your entry point in this candle, and your SL would have been up here above this candle here, had you decided to short in Bank Nifty. And then where would you have kept your target? This would be your target, which was the previous swing low. So not exactly a 1:1 1.5 or 1:2 trade here in Bank Nifty. So that is why I was more keen on taking that position in Nifty. But incidentally, this candle did not really close below the PDH, and that is why the trade in Nifty also was not a very good quality trade in my opinion. Do let me know in the comment section below if any of you have taken that trade. And okay, I need to explain to you why I'm saying that a shorting opportunity here was a good opportunity. See, why I say that is because once you see, or once retailers see the price going through the PDH, you know that there is a cluster of stop losses in this area. And if retailers are able to push the price back down like they were able to in Nifty, then it would form a big SL hunting zone here, and that is why there would have been a fall from there at least up to, if not lower, the swing low, the previous swing low. And that is the reason why I was waiting for Bank Nifty to break this particular PDH, which did not happen. And so that is the reason why I was looking to benefit or profit from trapped traders there. I was waiting to see if there would be any trapped bulls in this area. Then it would have been a bull trap, and the price would actually take resistance, which it was showing very comfortably at this area. You could easily see that these wicks were suggesting that there was resistance in that area, and you could easily see that price would have been, if it would have been pushed down and this candle would have closed below somewhere here, then there would have been a shorting opportunity in that area, simply because you could have benefited from trapped bulls here. So that was the pretext under which I said that there would have been a shorting opportunity there. But I had also tweeted about it that the support was still holding and Bank Nifty was at an important support. So that area was not really tradable. Okay, so the gap here is still to be filled, is yet to be filled, and we do not have a virgin CPR. It has been, the CPR of today has been broken by the first candle here. And let's go into the 15-minute time frame to see if there is any important area that we see that needs to be marked. You can see here that price has been taking resistance for a long time, and then after it was broken, you can see how price has actually taken support at that area and it has closed. But it is not a very convincing area to be marked because prior price action doesn't show us anything. So in spite of the fact that that level does show us a lot of price action and it does show that it was acting as a resistance initially, then it was broken here as resistance, and then it was holding as a support, it still doesn't mean much as far as intraday price action is concerned. So we will not mark that area as of now, but just be watchful around that area tomorrow because it might show some volatility. I'm not sure if that level will be very important as far as trading goes or entries go. We have just extended the 6th May virgin CPR forward, and we do have a demand zone from the previous day, that is the 9th of May. Okay, that day has, today has been the continuation of yesterday, so don't mark today's low as a very important demand zone, although you see the price jump from there, but still this level will be an important demand zone, not today's low, although you see that the price has actually gone up importantly today. But even then, just ensure that any day you trade, the PDH and the PDL will be important levels as far as an intraday trader is concerned. So just ensure that you keep an eye out for those levels. Now you can see that there is a very single line, a very tight CPR in Bank Nifty. Now these values might change later. Since I record these videos early, you might see these values change later. So that is why I post these levels on Twitter a little late in the day or a little late in the evening or tomorrow morning, so that to ensure that these levels are formed perfectly. So these levels are calculated by the software on TradingView, and then the price, closing of the price can change the values of these levels, and that will happen after 4 p.m. So before that my video is already recorded, right? So that is why always ensure that you take down these levels from Twitter whenever I post them there. So guys, I hope you've understood the price action and how you should be analyzing price action in the live market. I have been making these videos daily and taking efforts to explain to you to the best of my capabilities how you should read price action in the live market and how you should ensure that you don't get trapped in the live market like other retailers do. I hope you're finding this channel and its content useful, and I hope you're finding help out of these videos. If you're enjoying these videos, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified each time I post a new video. Please do comment. Your wonderful comments really encourage me to make newer and newer videos. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.